Can you hear me? Hello, testing 1, 2. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Licea podcast. I'm Licea today. We've got an interesting episode for you. Got some friends might be dropping in, might not. Going right in.
When you start drinking a steady decline, the funnels of vodka ain't helping. You got good friends to keep you out of trouble. The best ones are still drinking with you. And there's no good reason why. Alcohol judgment just don't mix. Alcohol judgment just don't mix. Alcohol judgment just don't mix. Alcohol judgment just don't mix.
So Brent Masters is entering. Hey,
JJ.
what's up, man? You're here. You did it.
Hi. How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
You're good.
All right. We got somebody in here now.
Yep. My volume's okay, right, on the microphone?
Yeah, everything's great.
Okay.
It's funny though, because you shaved your head and you have like orange on. It looks like you're like like you're in a jail.
Yeah, right.
You're calling for.
I was like, maybe I should throw a shirt on real quick, but no, I need a tank top. It's too hot.
Right. Now, that's exactly what happened to me. I was getting ready. I had everything ready. I had my shirt off. I was setting up everything and I sat down. I started everything. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't have a shirt on. So I had to go get a shirt. So we're going through topics. I have a couple topics here. I don't know if you're familiar, but there's one topic that I was just talking about right before you popped in. I kind of did a video about it yesterday and I don't know, man. I need another person's opinion on it. And hopefully you can be that person. Let me see if you share my screen. But it ended up being a video of this lady where she was at Subway and she found feces in her sandwich. And she's trying to make awareness of it because Subway is not doing anything about it. But my thing is, she found out after she left. And I'm thinking, this could be fake because don't you watch them make your sandwich?
Yes, you do.
So it'd be kind of weird. It sounds weird.
Yeah, I have to watch the video, but a lot of people do these kind of things to get go viral. So
Right.
it's
Let me know when you see. Can you see my screen?
yes, I can.
Okay, let's see. Can you hear it?
I can't hear it. Huh.
Okay, so I'm
Oh,
actually
here we go.
embarrassed by this whole situation, and I'm even more embarrassed that I'm using TikTok to try to fix it. But I find that it's the best way for companies to actually fix a problem when it's on social media and a bunch of people are seeing it. So 2 nights ago, I went to Subway, I ordered a sub, kind of weird interaction, go into the parking lot to eat it, and I noticed that I'm like, oh, the parking lot just smells like sewage. I'm like, okay, so I had a bite and I took it home to eat it there. I go and take a bite and I smell the exact same shit. Look in the papers in between the 2 wrappers on the sandwich is literal shit. There's feces. We're not sure if it's dog or if it's human. Right now it's like the police took a swab of it and whatnot, and public health is working on it and trying to figure it out. I messaged Subway the night it happened, put an online complaint in, hoping someone would reach out. I called corporate 5 times the next day, and all they told me is that I had to wait for someone to respond to my online complaint about there being literal shit on my food. And they haven't responded yet at all. I've heard absolutely nothing from them. I posted 2 videos about it. The first one got some views. The second one, after 2 hours of it being up, still had 0. I think now it's at 5 views maybe or so. So I have no idea what to do. I have an appointment Monday to try to find a lawyer or someone to talk to because I ate it. I ate a bite of it. The second bite, I spit that one out, but I don't know what to do. I haven't been able to eat really since then. I've been so incredibly nauseous just from the thought of food. I don't know what to do. So if anyone does, could you please help? Either help me contact Subway, help them see it, reach out to me, something. I don't know. I haven't even gotten a refund for that meal. So anything would be great.
Okay. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, it sounds pretty fake to me, and
Right?
I don't blame Subway for not saying anything because if they, if any company listened to every person on TikTok or online about a complaint, then they go out of business. So, and you're watching, like you said, you're watching them make the sandwich. So every time I've been to Subway, there's no way they can slide in 2 pieces of poop and before they wrap it.
She's showing this is like another video. So this is like the first
Okay.
video
Oh,
she ever
okay.
did. Let me find it. This is the
So
first
she
video she
actually
ever
does.
did.
Okay. So she actually does have a picture of it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Look, let me see. This is the first video she ever did.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Well, I kind of saw it. I don't even know what what that wrapper is because even when I'm there, when they have the wrapper, it's generally on like a
So check it out.
stack, so you could see the wrapper.
So you see it?
Why is there 2 wrappers on there anyway? I never
Right.
get 2 wrappers on there.
Right. And then look, and then this is the newest one. She goes into depth and it looks like where did that come from? From that first one we just saw, and then from this is the one she
Right.
posted last night. See
Okay.
all that looks like it's exaggerated. Like maybe she, and then this video she's talking about how it looks burned. And this is the video she did last night.
Okay, so obviously my biggest goal would be like find an explanation other than shit that explains this. But the problem with that is going through the menu and trying to find something that like makes sense hasn't worked. Obviously the first thing that came to like our mind is like something burnt on it, but the problem with that is like this whole area here, this is kind of just like smudged on, it was like just surface on the paper, but this like whole like clumpy area here was like smushy, so like if it was burnt it would have been like dried up and crispy on it. Like how does a red sauce like turn brown too? Like it's not even like black, it was brown. And I know what burning smells like. I've burnt a numerous amount of food cooking and whatnot, so I can tell the difference between sewage and burnt. So I don't know what. And like the smell from it was so bad that like an hour later I thought I was just like gagging from like remembering it. It turns out it was like under my nails and it was so potent that it was like following me around, and I felt so disgusted by it. No food should ever have that bad of a smell. So even if it is a food substance, I would have to say it's like so rotten for it to smell like that. And yes, I was in there like with them making the sandwich and I should have been paying more attention. However, I was the only customer in the store and already felt a little bit awkward, uncomfortable, whatnot. So I was like going on my phone whenever they weren't asking me what I wanted on it. So when they were wrapping it, I was like more on my phone, and like that's how I noticed. I was like, I don't want to be on my phone too long and be rude, but he's like taking a hot second and like behind the cookie stand or whatever. So I've been in contact with both the police and public health, and neither of them really knew what to do with it, and we're just passing it back and forth. The police went yesterday to look at the footage, and they're like,
Nobody
okay, we
knows what to
think
do
this
with
is
the
about when
thing.
you were in there, even though they have the receipt with the timestamp on it. And they're like, we couldn't really tell much from it other than the guy was eating with the gloves on before, he was eating cookies beforehand, so we think that it's like cookies that got burnt. But like I said, like that's not chocolate. That is definitely not chocolate. I know that for sure. Um, I didn't taste test it, so I guess I don't know it for sure, but also like it wasn't burnt. So the police pretty much told me that they're not going to do anything about it. They don't think there's any malicious intent.
Well, what
Public
can they
health haven't
do?
heard anything from them. Police told me that the store manager was supposed to reach out to me. Haven't heard anything. My biggest thing though is like the corporation. I am hearing like all in the comments that like it's a franchise, so it's not really
Well,
their
she wants a
problem. But
payout.
I don't understand
Right.
how they couldn't address it. Like
Seems
either like
fake
reach
now.
out to me and like
Now that I talked to
debunk
you
it
about it.
quickly, so I'm not sitting here
Yesterday I
Well,
thinking
was
that I ate a poo sandwich
here's
or
I mean, the
something. But I've
problem.
heard
Oh,
absolutely
sorry. Let's
nothing
go.
No, go
from
ahead.
anybody.
So the problem is let's just say she's 100% telling the truth, right? Like if you go to any lawyer, there's not going to be any way to prove it was there when she got it and when she got home. All Subway has to do is be like, once it leaves our store, we have no idea. Like if someone bought um their groceries at Costco and took it home and found poop in the box. It's like, well, we can't really prove that it was. You can't really prove that it was something we did. Like, and so if if they had to do a payout every time someone could just take something home and just put something on it and then get a payout from the corporation. So she's trying to do this to get a whole bunch of views, which seems to be working. And then that way Subway will be inclined just to pay her out with somehow. But any reasonable person, if it really did happen, you'd go to a lawyer and the lawyer would say, oh, we might have a case or we don't have a case. But
Right.
yeah, there's unless I mean what the it sounds like the police aren't gonna do a swab and try to see whose poop it is or anything. So I really think, you know, you can't know for sure, but at the same time, it's like it just seems like you're going home. You say it's a weird thing to plant, but at the same time, it's just something that she's getting a whole bunch of views on. Probably is trying to use these videos to tell Subway that I don't know, maybe get a lot of people to complain to Subway about it. I don't know, but
And
as
so,
far as a sorry,
no, you're right. And she deleted a lot of videos. Yeah.
I
So,
believe she probably went to the police trying to do anything she could to have some kind of legal recourse, but it sounds like it didn't work out. So instead, you just make a video of it,
right.
and yeah, it's kind of hard to believe it. Which like I said, she could be telling the truth 100%, but how do you, there's no way to really prove it.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I'm thinking, like, let's say it really did happen. I was thinking of all the scenarios, like, because right now in the last video I showed you, she was talking about how she ended up calling the cops. The cops went to the Subway and they requested video and they checked the video and they told her all that they saw that was suspicious was that he was eating cookies with his hands without any gloves on. And then he was serving customers. So he should have been washing his hands. That's pretty disgusting. He should have been fucking, you know,
Yeah,
so
you could get
but they saw no evidence of him doing anything fishy. But I'm thinking, what if that's his thing? Is like in the beginning of the day, maybe they were just checking that one time when she came in. What if like this guy is a sick fuck and he just goes to work every day and does this, prepares the poop at 9 a.m. and then what if this happened like at 1 p.m. You know what I mean? 5 hours later, 4 hours later, and he's just, you know what I mean? He's just like preparing for the day, and then he just goes and like sticks them between papers and then like hands them out to people he doesn't like or he feels disrespected or just being a dick. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying is if it did happen, I would assume like they only checked that one part of the video that she came in. He could have been had that ready to go from hours before. But at the same time, is who's going to spend time watching that whole 8-hour video or however long that guy was there? I don't know. That's just me thinking
yeah.
criminally.
I don't know for someone to really go that far to do it in the Subway. I kind of doubt. I think if someone was going to do it, they probably would have just done it then and there. And then I don't know.
Right.
I just feel like, yeah, we're giving the Subway guy a lot more credit, and I don't know. Maybe he could have. He definitely could have. I mean,
yeah. No, I feel you. I'm
but
just
I'm
saying,
like,
it's like if it did happen, like what
yeah,
lengths did this guy have to go through to not have to not do it right then? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
yeah. No, you definitely could have. I've never seen. I've been there. I go there not regularly, but every now and then. But I've never had two pieces of paper. I've also never had it at a point where you'd be able to visibly see it.
Definitely.
And
But then these kids nowadays, you never know. Like she said, she was on her phone. I could see that. I can definitely see that someone just on their phone, not even paying attention. But at the same time, it's like, come on, dude.
well, and ironically, all
You're
the
the
sub
only one in the store.
you're the only one in the store, and all Subway has to do is take that video and say, "Hey, she admitted she was not paying attention. She also admitted that she doesn't know it was poop because she said, I don't know, I don't know what it is." So, hey, she admitted herself she wasn't looking. So how do you know you got it from the Subway? How do you know? And all that stuff are just legal things. You
Right.
just
You're right.
admitted, oh, I was on my phone the whole time. I wasn't paying attention. Well, in that case, how do you know?
And
So
and that's the first thing that got me when I saw the headline. I saw it on another website, and that made me go to, and she was making awareness on TikTok, and then I went to TikTok to hear her story. What the first thing I read on the headline was young lady, um, eats poop in her and finds poop in her Subway sandwich, and I'm thinking, Subway? Don't you? That's one of the only places, or one of the known places that you watch your food being like. I can see a Burger King or a McDonald's more like, but like because you don't see them make it.
Right.
But a Subway, I was like, wait a minute. If she is playing games, she's dumb for going to a Subway.
I never want to know. I would never want to know how many fast food hamburgers or whatever I've eaten that had someone spit in it. Who knows?
And
So
that's
I'm
a
like,
real thing. That's a
yeah,
real thing. I bet you we all had at least one in our lifetime. Someone did something stupid, some schizophrenic or some jerk just having a bad day does to our foods.
yeah,
I was telling you the story. I was going to tell you the story. So this happened to me years ago, like many years ago in Bakersfield. Went to this pizza place called Magoo's. I don't know if it was a thing out here, but it was a thing in Bakersfield. And there was this one by my house, and we used to ride our bikes all the time. We went to this Magoo's Pizza, and we ordered a large pizza, and we were eating it. And they had like the crushed peppers and the cheese on the table, like in the little the shakers. And I was shaking crushed peppers on mine, and I put a lot of them on there. And I ate a whole slice, and then I went to go eat another slice. And I was preparing it. And I was putting crushed peppers all on the second slice, and I noticed that the pizza was moving, and it turns out there were maggots inside of the crushed peppers. And I freaked out. I mean, I just kind of freaked out silently. I wasn't like yelling or anything. I was just like, no, hell no. And we just left. We got up and we left. We didn't say anything to the people. We didn't demand a refund. We didn't. And I told him and myself, like I made it like a clear thing, it was a new rule. I would never eat there ever again. That was the last time they were going to get any money from me. And I just
just free
left.
extra protein.
And that's the thing too, is it's not the worst. I mean, I'm sure feces is way worse. You probably get like mad diseases or like even like hepatitis and shit from feces. Maggots, I looked up afterwards. It wasn't. I was like worried they were gonna grow in my stomach and stuff, but no, like the stomach acid kills it. I read
Yeah.
all into it. I was all nervous and shit. But that's something that, I mean, maybe it's. I said it in the video last time. Like maybe it isn't fair to compare maggots to feces, but at the same time, is I wasn't like trying to make like stand outside before. This is before TikTok, so I wasn't gonna stand outside and be like, "Don't eat here, don't eat here. They have maggots." You know what I mean? I just silently walked off and made it clear I was never going to eat there again. And I would even tell people, don't eat there. If like
Yeah.
privately, not like make a big deal of it. So for her
Yeah.
going on TikTok like this, I think that's kind of, I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's hard to tell who's actually sincere nowadays because I'm thinking any normal person, and maybe the new normal is to go online and go on social media. Any normal, for me, any normal reaction would be if it really is poop. You go to a lawyer. You don't go on social media and say I don't know what to do, or I call the cops and they're not doing anything. Go to a lawyer. Actually know what your options are. Say, hey, this is what happened, and they'll tell you whether you do or don't have a case. If you do have a case, okay, cool. Call I don't know how you get forensics to swab it or whatever, but that's what you do. But instead, it seems like she's going the route of I'm just going to get as many views as I can, and I'm going to just pressure Subway into just giving me a payout or something. And it's like, no, that's not really how it should work. And then she's getting mad that Subway hasn't talked to her yet. It's like, if I was Subway, I wouldn't talk to you yet either. Hey, if you bring a lawyer and some paperwork and stuff, maybe I'll talk to you. But otherwise, I just compare it to any company. I compare it to Costco. Costco's not going to talk to you unless you bring something that's going to make them talk to you. Then okay, we'll talk. But other than that, it just comes off. It just comes off as you're doing it for views and even when she talks about it, she doesn't seem that upset. She almost seems like she's laughing, which I
Yeah.
guess is fine. But it's like it all just seems suspicious. And then I really think a whole thing falls apart when she says, "Yeah, I wasn't paying attention." It shows that you're either, if you're not thinking about this legally, if you were thinking about this from a legal perspective, you wouldn't just say that, because at that point it's like, well, you just admitted you're paying attention. So
Right. 100%.
she
I
seems like
agree.
she's young. She seems like she's all about TikTok. I I just wouldn't be surprised if it was just let's just throw this on there, do a couple videos. I don't know why she would delete some other ones. Maybe because she had the forensics guy on there. I don't know, but
I'm thinking she actually talked to the lawyer, and they're saying exactly what you're saying. Like, you need to delete those videos, or even or maybe I don't know. I have no idea, because I would assume, like you said, this last one she did, where she's talking about she wasn't looking, she wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I didn't realize it until you said it. That's pretty much that could be used in court against her,
yeah.
big time, of her
And
saying
that's
she
what I'm
wasn't
thinking.
aware.
And that's what I was thinking too. I was thinking maybe a lawyer told her to take out those videos, but the lawyer probably would have told her to take that one down too, because that is a pretty big confession that she just said.
Definitely.
So yeah, I don't think it's going to get anywhere. I mean, who knows? You might be able to pressure him into something, and the lawyer might say, "Oh, you just throw it, get 2 million views, and maybe." So I don't know. I also know from Costco that they will just pay someone out just to get them off their backs, but you really have to have a solid lawsuit going for them to do it. And I don't think you can get that with what she has.
Right. I see what's going on here with my thing. Okay. Yeah, that's very, very correct. Let me try to share my screen again. I got another video.
Okay.
I want your opinion on. This is the hot take section of my podcast,
All right.
where we just show videos and we get the hot takes, because I don't know what to make of it. Like, you kind of put a lot of perspective on this last topic. I really was thinking that she was legitimate, but now that you were talking about it, it makes more sense. And even then, you're right. Like, you saw that first video where there was a little bit of poop, and then on the last video, there's a bunch of poop. So it's like, where was all that at?
And then the first video, she showed no poop. Like, oh, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay. So check this out. I'm gonna share my screen. See if it stays. Can you see? Okay.
Oh, okay, I can see it.
Woman goes to Target on her boyfriend's shift and demands marriage.
I can't hear it. Oh, there it goes.
You put this ring on my finger 2 years ago, and it's time to do it or get out. Yeah, we're getting married right now, or I'm leaving, I'm out. I'm done. Like, if you don't marry me this second, I brought the pastor, I brought Emily, she's my bridesmaid. Hi, guys. I'm just finally making him commit, Like, we're getting married now, or like it's over.
Woo! Do it!
Yes, we can talk about this outside. I'm shaking. Thank you so much.
Could someone have told me that?
I think that's. I'll let you go first.
It is so considerate. I would have loved if my marriage was, hey, I'm at work, just stop by real quick, bring everything with you. She went out of her way to make it so easy for him. Just be like, hey, this is great. We don't have to do any kind of planning. This is awesome. So listen, she's a keeper.
That's one way to look at it. That's definitely one way to look at it. Oh my god. I just think that's embarrassing. I'd be so fucking embarrassed if it just. I don't know. That's just how I am. I would be so embarrassed.
No,
really?
To be honest, she's either insane or this is a publicity thing. But if she really did this, I don't know, out of nowhere. I mean, you never know the backstory, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But the backstory should never. No matter what, it shouldn't lead to that. If you're a woman who needs to get married, either A, needs to get married that bad, or B, is with a guy who just won't marry you, even though you're that serious about it. Unless she's crazy, and we don't know if it's been like a week or 2 years, so I don't know. But if we just say, if I give her the benefit of the doubt and say it's been 2 years, let's say, and he just won't, it's kind of like the shit or get off the pot type mentality. It's like, okay, well, hey, eventually, if you really want to get married and he doesn't want to, at that point, you just break up and start with someone else. So you don't go to their shift and try to get married. Because even if he did do it, the rational person would be like, well, he just did it because you pressured him that much into it. So in that case,
right.
So
100% true. That's definitely a good way to look at it.
If you're with someone who doesn't want to be with you that bad or doesn't want to marry you that bad, and that's where I don't know the backstory, obviously. If this was only like a week relationship, then she's insane. If it's a couple years, okay, well then it's time to start something new.
Right. Definitely. I was talking to someone about this the other day about how like the same thing, basically what you said, exactly what you said, when it comes to like you never know. Because like you see these situations where like on the jumbotron, like at a baseball game or a football game, you see, or a hockey game, you see, a guy gets down on his knees and the girl's like no, and we're talking to someone and she was like telling me, I think it's kind of fucked up when you see stuff like that. It's like just say yes so you don't embarrass him, and then afterward be like no. But then I was telling her, well, you never know, like what if this is like their first date, or like they've been only been together for a week and that's her honest instant gut reaction is no. Like, and people think maybe they're together for years and what a bitch, oh my god, she doesn't want to marry him, but you don't know their story. You know what I mean? You never know. You never know. Or what if he had just cheated on her or something crazy just happened, and
Yeah.
and they're not really on good terms, and she's like, what? I don't why are you asking to marry me? I don't know. And another thing too is women who, that's what we're talking about as well, women who propose to guys. Like some people feel like that's like a shameful thing to do. Like that girl was trying to come in, but like girls who get on their knees and ask men to marry them, people look down on that, like, oh, the guy should do it, not the girl. But I mean, it all depends. You don't know their situation. You don't know their situation.
No, I think let's see. No, at this point, I think if we're going to go the way of equality, which I agree with, then it's like, hey, I don't see an issue with either one. Um, as far as I'm also not a fan of, at least personally, like totally surprising someone with a proposal. Like when I got married, we've talked about getting married prior. We kind of talked about going to the next step. When I asked, I was like nine. There was still like a little bit of percentage that she could have said no, but for the most part, it's like I know where we are. I know that's the next step, and I do know if she said no, then that would have saved me a lot of trouble too, right? Like I would want someone to be honest and be like, no. Now, with your example with the jumbotron, I do kind of, that's rough because if I was in her position and I'm like going to say no, then it's like either A, the guy could be sleazy and use it as a way of she knows. No, wait, the guy could be sleazy by knowing that she's going to say no, but then he gets the sympathy of saying, "Oh, she rejected me." It's like, no, you probably knew she was going to reject you on the jumbotron, but now you get to have the sympathy of going online and having the video and showing people, look how, and you get the sympathy that way. Like, look how sad this was. It's like, well, you could have, if you're going to propose, you should have a pretty good baseline of if it's going to be a yes or a no.
Right.
So if you're gonna ask and there's a good chance he's gonna say no, then I think you should wait until you kind of talk more about it, you know. And if you're
Yeah.
gonna do it in public, then you need to, yeah, to do it in public, you have to pretty much know they're gonna say yes.
Right. That's true.
Otherwise, it does come off as, were you really asking, or were you trying to get sympathy, like kind of burn this relationship so you get sympathy for your next relationship?
Right.
I,
And
I
that's,
don't know.
yeah, that's a real thing. That's a real thing because you never know with people who are, like you're saying, how you have to know for sure. But I feel like there are times in my in my past where I felt like I would probably say the girl would say yes when really she probably would have said no. Like, I guess some guys just think they know, but they don't know.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, and that, with that said, I guess I just treat it as, like I said, there's always going to be a small chance, but if you're in the point of, we've talked about marriage, we talked about this or that, I wouldn't let it get to a, oh, okay, I would try not to let it get to a point when she comes to on my shift to try to get married. I would try to, like, at least catch it before it gets to that point, whether or not we get married or not. But um oh, I lost what I was thinking. But basically, oh, because you're talking about women asking too. which yeah, I have no problems with. Ask them. If you're because another issue I think that I guess I mostly would see it in women, where the woman wants to get married so bad, and the guy's like, "Ah, we'll do it later. We'll do it later." Where it's like, okay, if he's not ready, then that's fine. But after a few months of, hey, she pretty much has telling you to just ask her already, but you're still not asking her, then it's like you need to figure out what the issue is, because there's definitely an issue where the guy doesn't want to get married yet, and either that's fear, which most likely is the case, or it could be immaturity. But that's where it's like, don't hang on to someone. And with that, what I said, it's like, like I said earlier, if it's like a reasonable length of relationship, I say about 2 years. I would give someone about 2 years of like, okay, maybe I'm not ready yet, maybe I'm not ready yet. But after about 2 years, I'd say, okay, you should be able to make that decision or not. And if you're not, then it might be better to cut it and start something else before you get too old. And then, otherwise you'll be with one person for 15 years and say, oh, well, he has never gonna want to get married, but I still want to. And then you end up breaking it off, and then you're 35 or 40 and say, oh, well, it just didn't work out. So at least that's my opinion of it.
Right. That's a good hot take. Hot takes.
Hot takes.
Hot takes. That's a really good hot take on relationships. And that will lead to that hot take is going to lead to this next hot take. I want to know your opinion on this one, because this, my friend, I want to know what you think about this.
Guys, I'm on a date for the first time in like forever, and look at his car. And like, I mean,
It's a
floor in the front
minimalist
is not
look.
dirty, so I guess I'll give him props. I also think he has a girl because there's flowers here. Look at the handle, bro. The tents. Guys, he's coming back right now.
You coming in?
Yeah. How do you open the door again?
Oh, just pull it.
Like. Oh my god.
You have your card?
Yeah, I brought my car.
Like, I don't have
So he ended up not having enough for himself. So I ended up paying my own, and I gave him a little bit for him. Is that a green or red flag?
Is that a green or red flag? Brent, is that a green or a red flag?
Man, he takes you out to a nice meal. He may not be able to afford the whole thing, but man, he tried. He got a car that works.
Did you catch it? He couldn't afford. She paid for herself and for half of his.
Well, I'd like to know how they. I mean, obviously, we're never going to know the answer, but I'd like to know how they met and what led them to that point. I guess let's just say they met online or something.
I'm gonna say red flag.
Yeah, probably a red flag.
I'm gonna
you might have the next major star in there. Who knows? Maybe he's just like, man, I'm just scraping up until I get the big acting gig or something. No, but let's see, the honest take would be like, yeah, it's a red flag.
Right.
The car itself, hey, if he has a job, he's like, hey, you know what, this is temporary, or I'm working on it. Maybe you could work around that, but you're taking someone to a date, knowing you have to know you don't have enough money for yourself. That's where it's like, okay, well, that's enough to be like, okay, this isn't gonna work out.
Right. Well, my thing is, yeah, the car, whatever. But if you know your car's like that, open the door for her. Like, don't tell her to pull the fucking cord or that fucking wire. Like, open the door for her. Like, I got the door for you. Like, and it seemed like he walked off and he came back and he's like, are you gonna come in or what? Like, are you gonna come in like if he was already in there?
Yeah.
Like, if he just walked up out his car and turned around and walked into the place they're gonna eat, and then realized, oh, she's not behind me, and he goes back to the car to say, are you coming in or what? Like, that's crazy. Like, that to me is like, that guy's crazy. Something's wrong with that guy in his head. And like you said, to go to eat and not know you don't have enough for both of them. That's crazy. Is this a green or a red flag? If you have to ask, then what the? Maybe they're meant for each other. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I like how she asked if it's a green flag. Like, yeah,
Right.
no, this is an awesome.
Yeah. You know what? Give him a chance, lady.
This is
Give
a
him a
green flag. Don't
chance.
worry about it. If
Yeah.
anything, it means go. Let's go. No, the beginning, the door thing made me think maybe it's staged, just because I get a tinge of that. But you're right. If it what, yeah, I was thinking like maybe you can't even open the door from the outside.
That's true. That's true.
But that's the initial thing of me thinking like maybe the thing is staged. But watching these things, I'm just gonna pretend it's all legit, and I'm just gonna go with it. Yeah, but I do like. Is it a green or red? It's just yeah. There's nothing green about that.
No, there's nothing green about that. That's so crazy. Oh,
Did you
my
notice that
God.
they ate in the car, or maybe they're going
Right.
somewhere else. Maybe they're going somewhere else. All right, I'll give them
Well,
that.
yeah, and that's what she put at the end. And we ate in the car. And he gave her, what did he say? Let's look at it. He gave her a toolbox.
Wait, what? I didn't hear.
Yeah. And he gave her a toolbox. Let me see. We were eating in his car. He put a toolbox under me because it was hot.
Guys, I'm
And
on
she
a
put
date for
oh,
the first time in,
oh.
like, forever.
But did you see what she put? She put like
Guys.
Nice.
he put a toolbox under me because it was hot. At least he's trying.
Maybe if she has to ask, then maybe they are meant for each other.
Right. And then at least he's trying. Like, I don't think she understands what trying is.
I'm surprised he's trying that much and that little at the same time. It's either on or off. There's no like middle ground. It's either he doesn't care at all, or he's oh, here's a toolbox for you.
That was the best thing. That was the best. I'm surprised. What did you say? I'm surprised at how much he's trying or how little he's trying at the same time.
It's either one or the other. But for any date, I think for any date, if you're going to a place and the other person says, "You brought your card, right?" That's a red flag.
Did you miss that? Did you miss that the first time?
I did. The first
Okay.
I didn't hear him. I didn't hear him the first time.
Yeah, that's bad. Bad.
You brought your card, right?
Oh.
That means I'm paying.
Oh my God. And then, so you know what you're talking about, stage stuff? There's a lot of these I look at and I wonder if they're staged. Because a lot of these feel like now that you mention it, some of them are just probably better at doing it. But yeah, a lot of these are freaking staged, man.
Now, what do you think about, because I've heard through just like podcasts and interviews and stuff, but it's hard to date now in the sense of, actually, I mean, I guess it's always been a thing, but there's women who will do it just for free meals and be like that, not really caring much about, as long as the guy's okay, I'll just get a free meal out of it.
Right.
And it's kind of rough to be like, but that's also where I'm thinking, that's why like usually a coffee shop or something is a good first date. That way you both are understanding if whether this is a serious thing or not, as opposed to going straight to some fancy place where she gets surf and turf and it's like, okay, maybe.
Well, yeah. I think, I mean, I would say not a fancy place. I would recommend, like, if you're dating, I mean, this is my rule of thumb, because yeah, there's a lot of women like that who just want to go to a fancy place, but at the same time is, if you're dating a girl who wants to go to a fancy place on the first date, that is a red flag. I think like
true.
A girl who, I mean, for me at least, I mean, maybe guys, there are certain guys who are into that, but for me, I'm cool with going to like a mediocre place and paying, even if the like Olive Garden or something, and even if the girl's just going with me to get a free dinner at Olive Garden, that's I'm willing to what's the word for it? I'm willing to like lose that money.
Yeah,
I'm willing to tolerate that expense just to maybe see if there is anything going on between us. But like, to go to a fancy place on the first date, I think that's a red flag for me, and that's even something that I feel like that's definitely women want that. Like women who want to go to a fancy place on the first date, and let's say, like, for example, I'm on Tinder and I meet a girl on Tinder and we click and we start talking, and then she wants to go to like a really fancy place, like let's say Ruth's Chris, she wants to go there, and I'm like, I'm not really trying to go there on the first date, and she thinks it's a deal breaker, then fine, cool. That's okay. It's okay.
It's
But
true.
but if it's someone who's like, well, okay, gonna level with me, okay, well, let's try, even if that was like her first option, and I'm like, well, what about Olive Garden? And she comes down to my level, then maybe if things click, I will take her to a Ruth's Chris. You know what I mean? Ruth Chris, whatever it's called. I will
Ruth
take her to,
Chris.
yeah, but that expensive steakhouse type shit. If, then we'll work our way up there instead of starting there and coming, starting there and going, being up here, rather come down here and then get up there. See if she's worth Ruth Chris levels of food.
No, I'm gonna take this guy's approach. What you do is you get her in the car, you get to the place, and then just slide in. You brought your card, right? Just as you're entering. That's the way to do it. That way you're kind of you get your own free Panda Express out of that.
There's a guy who would do that. Do you remember that? Yeah. Okay. So here's that guy. I found him. His name is Serial Dine and Dasher. Serial.
Oh my gosh.
For many people, online dating is what you do to find love. But several women say for one California man, it seemed to be less about filling his heart and more about filling his stomach.
He just knew all the right things to say. And that's what, really makes me, angry inside.
Paul Gonzalez is accused by at least 6 women in the Los Angeles area of inviting them out to dinner after meeting online and ordering an expensive meal. They say after eating, his phone rings, he steps away to take the call, and never returns.
He ordered a Caesar salad with shrimp, a steak and a baked potato, and a glass of Pinot Noir.
He had told me that his son may be calling. I said, no, absolutely. I have kids. I understand.
The alleged serial dine and dasher reportedly has been accused of duping several dates over the last few years. Last November, Gonzalez was even sentenced to 90 days in jail for theft. But just months after being released, Pasadena police say he's back at it, telling ABC News, "We are looking at him for other incidents of this nature. We believe there are other victims who are afraid to come forward." And in the most recent incident, Gonzalez reportedly got scared off by a restaurant owner who recognized him, but he had already eaten. Still, the restaurant did comp that bill, so at least the woman was not still paying for it.
And I know who that woman is, and she reached out. And, it'd be easy to kind of to laugh about this and say, oh, my gosh, what's the big deal here? But when you learn more about him, and it's just thinking, what else is he capable of?
And it's so calculated.
Yeah,
but
totally.
he's also accused of doing the same with haircuts. Apparently gets haircuts and runs out on those bills as well. So the police are wondering, kind of the same question we're asking, there's more to this, right?
And he met these women online as well. You know what he looks like, you know his name. So how does he continue to do this?
Well, he does use different names sometimes. Many of these women he apparently met on Bumble, and that was under a different name. But the site actually, when they found out about it, they kicked him off, they banned that profile, and they offered those women to pay for their bills, to compensate them for that cost.
Wow. And we just put his picture up on national television.
Do not date that man.
Really, stay away.
Yeah.
Just looking for love, man.
Yeah. The things you do for love, huh? Jesus Christ.
Well, I was wondering because the first woman looked like older, so I'm like, maybe he's just going after like older women or just people who just
Oh my god,
a felony. So I'm curious, is it illegal? I know it's obviously illegal to die on dash, but is it? So I guess it's, how do you prove? So like, if you go out, whether a date or a friend, and you ditch that person, now you're burning that bridge completely. But can they come after you with like a lawsuit? How do you prove that? That's
I think it goes deeper to where maybe 1 or 2 we find, but I mean he did 20. What they said.
That's what I'm thinking, and maybe there must be a limit.
All of it compiled together, all the money damage he did, is probably put him into a felony charge. And even then, maybe it went to like there was other things that happened from it. Like let's say him going online and making a fake name, that's considered what like there's a name for it. Fraud. So like that could be considered fraud. Him going on and making a fake identity just to lure people into situations with them. Because I guess you could argue that he could have went onto Bumble or TikTok or excuse me, Bumble or Tinder and made a fake name, lured these girls, and could have done something worse, like harmed them, like physically harmed them. And he could have he put him and the women in a situation where he could have done some really bad damage. And maybe that's part of the felony charge.
Yeah.
I said malicious intent.
I said the joke about murder when they said, what more can you do? But it's, it is true where it's like, if you're that undetached of other people's emotions and feelings, now murder, okay, I guess that's a kind of a jump. But yeah, most likely was probably stealing and stuff as well as these giant dashes. I don't think it's just that. So if you're able to disconnect yourself that much from other people, he probably was stealing and stuff as well. You can't, I probably wouldn't stop there.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, to willingly do that to people, that's just, it's like the scammers who scam like older people out of their retirement. It's like, dude, if you're able to do that, that's like on another level of that. You're gonna have to answer for that one day. It could be on your deathbed. It could be, I don't know, but yourself, that's a little bit of your soul you're losing every time you do that to people. Like it's like, oh, that's rough.
I appreciate your time. Thank you for your hot takes. I appreciate you for showing up.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun, man. Thank you for your hot takes, and thank you for weighing in on some of these subjects that have been bugging me. I appreciate your time, and take care. Have a good night. Have a good morning.